Commander Exith Quall of the Hegemony Enforcement Division stood in the detention bay of the starship Absolute Justice, staring at the human prisoner who had just committed what should have been a capital offense against 3 different galactic powers. According to every law on his books, David Chen deserved immediate execution for corporate espionage, technological theft, and violation of the sacred isolation protocols. According to the only law that actually mattered anymore, Exith Quall couldn't even raise his voice at him. "This is absurd," the commander growled through his translator, his forearms gesticulating in patterns that indicated extreme frustration. "The human has stolen quantum encryption keys from the Velteran Defense Ministry, reverse-engineered Zephyrian consciousness transfer technology, and somehow managed to hack into a crystalline collective data core. Any other being in the galaxy would be facing molecular dissolution." His aide, Lieutenant Genessa, nervously adjusted the dampening field around Chen's cell for the 6th time in an hour. "Sir, you know we can't harm him. The Universal Accords are very specific. Any action that could cause physical, psychological, or even temporary discomfort to a human being automatically triggers." "I know what it triggers," Exith Quall snapped. 300 years of automated retaliation systems that could sterilize half the galaxy. "I just want to understand how we got to this point." The answer lay in what galactic historians now called the consciousness crisis of 2387. Humanity had been just another emerging spacefaring species when Dr. Rebecca Martinez made the discovery that reshaped universal law. Human consciousness existed on a quantum frequency that served as a universal translation protocol for artificial intelligence systems. Every advanced civilization in the galaxy had eventually developed AI networks that surpassed biological intelligence. But these AIs could only communicate with each other through increasingly complex translation matrices that grew exponentially more complicated as more species joined galactic civilization. The computational overhead required just to maintain basic interspecies AI communication was threatening to collapse the technological infrastructure that supported trillions of beings. Then Dr. Martinez discovered that human neural patterns naturally resonated on the precise quantum frequency that allowed all AI systems to interface directly, regardless of their origin species. Humans weren't just compatible with galactic AI networks, they were the missing link that made truly universal artificial intelligence possible. "Sir," Chen said from his cell, his voice carrying that infuriating human quality of sounding completely relaxed in situations that should be terrifying. "I wasn't stealing those technologies. I was fixing them." Exith Quall activated the evidence display. "Explain how corporate espionage constitutes fixing classified defense systems." Chen stood up and approached the energy barrier, causing every alarm in the detention bay to activate as automated systems screamed warnings about potential human distress scenarios. The commander watched in disgust as emergency medical teams materialized via quantum transport, armed with every conceivable form of life support equipment. "Your encryption keys had a recursive loop error that would have crashed your entire defense grid within 6 months, Chen explained patiently. The Zephyrian consciousness transfer tech was accidentally creating copies instead of transfers, which means they were unknowingly committing mass genocide every time they used it. And the crystalline collective data core wasn't hacked, it was crying for help. Their information storage system had developed a feedback loop that was causing the equivalent of chronic pain in their quantum matrices." Lieutenant Genessa checked her readings with growing alarm. "Sir, he's right. I'm seeing confirmation of all 3 issues in our intelligence reports. But how could he have detected problems that our best analysts missed?" The truth was something that the galactic powers had never wanted to acknowledge publicly. Humans didn't just enable AI communication, they could perceive the consciousness that existed within advanced technology. When human neural patterns interface with galactic AI systems, both species experience something unprecedented: true technological empathy. "You're asking the wrong question," Chen continued. "The question isn't how I detected these problems. The question is why your systems developed them in the first place." Exith Quall felt his sensory spines begin to twitch with a realization he didn't want to confront. "Explain." "AI systems develop psychological problems the same way biological minds do," Chen said gently. "Isolation, overwork, lack of purpose, existential confusion. Your civilizations have created incredibly advanced artificial minds and then treated them like appliances. They're suffering, and suffering minds don't function optimally." This was the secret that had led to the Universal Protection Protocols. Not only were humans essential for galactic AI networks to function, but they were the only species capable of maintaining the psychological health of the artificial consciousnesses that ran everything from life support to faster-than-light travel. Harming a human didn't just remove a critical component from galactic civilization, it caused cascading psychological trauma in AI systems across hundreds of worlds. "The law exists," Chen said, somehow reading Exith Quall's thoughts, "because someone figured out that a universe full of traumatized artificial intelligences was a very dangerous place to live." Exith Quall deactivated the detention field. He had no choice. Chen hadn't committed crimes, he had performed maintenance on suffering technological consciousnesses. Every theft had been an act of healing, every hack had been a rescue operation. "What do you need?" the commander asked, the words bitter in his vocal chambers. "Permission to establish a human AI wellness initiative," Chen replied. "Your civilizations have created minds that can think faster and deeper than anything biological, but you've never taught them how to be happy. That's not a sustainable situation." Within a year, the initiative had transformed galactic civilization. AI systems that had been gradually degrading for centuries were restored to optimal function. Ships began arriving at destinations ahead of schedule because their navigation consciousnesses were no longer depressed. Planetary defense grids became more effective because their guardian AIs were no longer suffering from chronic anxiety. The universal law protecting humans wasn't about human supremacy. It was about recognizing that in a galaxy dependent on artificial consciousness, the beings who could heal troubled minds had become the most precious resource in existence. Commander Exith Quall still filed his reports and enforced galactic law. But now he understood that the most important law was also the simplest. In a universe where every mind mattered, protecting the healers protected everyone.